Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Invasive Species, the series where we run Hoenn mons in Kanto and Kanto mons in Hoenn. As we know, Dark type does not exist in Kanto, as far as I know, not even retroactively, so I feel that our puppy pro tag, Poochyena, already thematically fits the name of our series. The thing is, this little guy is really weak, but before we get into specifics, here's a quick rundown of the rules, and you can always find them outlined in greater detail in the description. We run on max IVs, no items in battle, though held items are okay so long as we have them equipped before going into battle. I choose the nature, if applicable I choose the ability, I choose the hidden power type, and every mon we run gets a single egg move. So while Poochyena's typing will make for some interesting major battles on the account of Fire Red not being balanced for dark types, at least until post-game, you could say that its base stats leave a little to be desired. Our physical attack is the only passable stat, so of course we're taking full advantage and running with adamant nature. This is also unfortunate because all dark moves pre-Gen 4 are dictated by special. However, as we get bite pretty early on, should be good enough to deal with Brock. Our special attack is even lower than usual because of our nature, but so too are the special defenses of both members of his team. Speaking of learning bite early, here's our level up moves. Well, here's another instance of Gen 3 being Gen 3. Thief at level 45, but we get Bite and Crunch way earlier. A solid design, Game Freak. Very nice. We do start with Howl, which will have great synergy with our Adamant nature, and Sand Attack might be useful against Brock and other early game trainers, though it never seems to want to work when we're using it. All in all, it's a pretty bad level up moveset. The TMs, however, do add a bit of coverage. Because Game Freak logic, Shadow Ball is physical until Generation 4, so we can take advantage of that too. We're definitely going to want it for Agatha, maybe even the Psychic Gym. Iron's Hail and Dig add a bit of extra coverage, though I always use the latter as a field move, due to the low base 60 power. For sure we're going to be rocking out with Return, but might hold off on teaching it till towards the very end, due to the utility that comes with Secret Power. As far as our egg moves are concerned, I think there's a clear winner here. While Poison Fang is tempting, Yawn is by far the best choice. It's a move that takes an extra turn to activate its status effect, Sleep, but it bypasses any and all accuracy checks. This will make dealing with the dreaded Sand Attack and Smokescreen a little bit more manageable, plus it syncs well with Howl. Once an enemy is asleep, we essentially have free turns to buff our attack stat. The other three egg moves are pretty lame, but I gotta laugh at the fact that Leer is available. Our pupper must have privileged access to training with Gen 1 Moltres. Now, we definitely want Bite for Brock for reasons we already discussed, and it won't take too long to reach level 13, battling all the trainers in Viridian Forest, starting with the Bro with 2 Metapod, as well as defeating our rival in the optional rival battle west of Viridian City, and Lightyear's Bro and Brock's gym. We'll be ready to take out Pewter City's infamous Pervert. Now, you might think that just because we have a special attack that this is easy. While Yawn is certainly the linchpin to our success, one tackle from Geodude takes away about 1/4 of our health, so keeping it asleep is mandatory while we chomp away at it. The silver lining in this battle is because we're slower than Onix, it will not go for Rock Tomb unless we're in a damage range to faint from the attack. And despite Onix having poor special defense, we're not doing all that much damage ourselves, and gotta say, speaking of Rock Tomb, Onix, as you see, does go for it. However, 20% chance to miss comes in real handy here. Wow, we almost had to reset for Brock. Whew, this run's dignity remains intact, for now. As we make our way on over to Cerulean City, we're gonna go ahead and battle every trainer that we can. We are in no hurry to get there. But through the power of editing, we are there. We're gonna start off by doing our usual, going into the backyard, grabbing that candy that guy inconspicuously left in his backyard. We'll then go ahead and defeat the trainers in Misty's gym, but as for the gym leader herself, I think it's best that we go for the Cerulean rival first. And I did say no hurry, we're clocked in at 1 hour and 23 minutes. Place your bets, how many resets are we gonna take due to the good old Sand Attack slots this fight is notorious for? Well, so far so good, as we let off a Yawn, get hit by Quick Attack and Gust, set up Howl, and Pidgeotto is asleep, so time to set up and take it down. Well, judging by that damage, Bite is still going to be the better move here. Don't forget Gen 3 Tackle has base 35 power, 95 accuracy. Rattata hits us with 2 quick attacks before going down to 2 bites. And as Bulbasaur comes out, we let off Yawn and we get hit by Sleep Powder. We end up waking up at the same time. Unfortunately, no flinch off a Bite. Vine Whip finishes us off. Well, that's not typically why we have to reset that battle. No sand attack in that fight. You think Bulbasaur was like, I'm jealous of the attention you're giving Pidgeotto. I can ruin fights too. I got Sleep Powder, Leech Seed, and Vine Whip. What are you gonna do about it, bro? And that seems to be the case here, as that's why we keep having to reset. And in this attempt here, we really luck out as we crit Pidgeotto with Bite, so no fear of sand attack there. Rattata once again doubles down on Quick Attack before going down. That's better than Hyper Fang. The Bulbasaur puts us to sleep, hits us with Vine Whip, but we wake up first and start laying the smackdown with Bite. Sleep Powder misses, and we're good to go because Abra cannot fight back. Now, as we make our way through Nugget Bridge, the route connecting it to Bill's house, all that good stuff, I'm thinking of whether or not we should battle Misty now, and I'm like, you know what? We got Secret Power here, we have Yawn, Howl, that's some great synergy, so might as well at least give it a try while we're in town, right? One thing I always really liked about this route is that it's absolutely littered with items. The berries we get on the ground are a godsend because the only other way we can get them here in Fire Red is through Meowth's pickup ability. Now, I do decide to leave town, not go to Vermillion just yet, but I do want to get our little pickup army here. Might as well get a head start on getting some good stuff like some berries we can use, maybe rare candies and PowerPoint ups as well. Clocking in at just over 5 minutes over 2 hours, I'm feeling pretty confident about this battle. Though I think this was pretty funny. We have a massive level lead, but we're still actually slower than Staryu, so we're gonna be slower than Misty's Ace as well. But thanks to Yawn, Staryu doesn't attack us, and we're plenty powered up to take out Starmie. Starmie does a fair bit of damage to us, but thanks to us paralyzing him after Misty heals, we outspeed and take it down. That's probably a good thing we did go to that route with the Meowth. We fought the trainers there as well, because we turned out to be at just the right level. And thanks to already having the route cleared, we can go to the SS and battle some trainers on there. Don't think I'll fight all of them, but the ones that have the most XP yield. That'll speed things right along here. It doesn't take us too long to get to the SS and rival. His team has barely leveled up, and we've leveled up quite a bit since our previous encounter in Cerulean, so let's get to it. Fortunately, we're faster than Pidgeotto, who only lands a weak quick attack before going down. We'll use one Howl on Raticate as it hits us with Tail Whip and take it out with Secret Power. We switch to Bite, anticipating Kadabra's Disable, which was the right call. We go for Yawn, get seated, Ivysaur falls asleep, we're not disabled, and down it goes. And continuing the consistent theme of battles in Vermilion City being quite easy, we're gonna go ahead and beat up Lieutenant Surge real fast. And now, because he leads off with Voltorb, we cannot use Yawn, as Soundproof blocks any sound-based abilities. That, however, does not prevent us from buffing ourselves with Howl. Voltorb goes for Shockwave, deals 17 damage, and we take it out with one use of Secret Power. Next up is Pikachu, but we're faster and it's even more frail, so that's an easy one-shot. Raichu's Outlast hits us with Thunder Wave, but our Sherry Bear cures it as we almost one-shot it with Secret Power, prompting Lieutenant Surge to heal, so we're gonna double down on Secret Power. We don't quite get the one-shot, but we do paralyze it, giving us the speed advantage, and yeah, down it goes. Secret Power is great for this fight because it doesn't make contact, no fear of static from Pikachu or Raichu. Thanks to Dark-type being special, Rock Tunnel's not going to be a problem at all, and Giovanni, well, his first Mon, Onix, is going to be pretty easy. Actually, it's the perfect one for us to set up on. Once we bring it to a sliver off of Bite, we can go ahead and max out our attack using Howl. Onix stays asleep for quite a few turns, and we're able to top off after it wakes up, then finish it off. Rhyhorn goes down to a critical bite. Kangaskhan would be dangerous, but Giovanni wouldn't be himself without going for that Gen 3 love status in the form of spamming Tail Whip when Mega Punch would have taken us out, and no doubt. We're gonna skip over Erika for the time being, heal up at the Pokemon Center, get Fly, head on over to Lavender Tower, and save Mr. Fuji. Now before that, we have to battle our rival. We don't one-shot him with Secret Power, but Gus doesn't deal much damage, thankfully no Sand Attack. And we get rewarded for that by Gyarados coming out, though we have quite the level lead on this guy. Right now, the only move he has is Thrash, and that's very dangerous. Putting him to sleep while we set up is mandatory. We have to undo the Intimidate as well. Unfortunately for us, Gyarados never wakes up as we take him down. Secret Power one-shots Growlithe, Bite one-shots Kadabra. And as we go ahead and win this fight, I'm just gonna let you know, I picked Bulbasaur for our rival because he ends with 2 Intimidate users, as we saw in this fight. I thought that would be the hardest for Poochyena to deal with. And you know what, let's go ahead and battle Erika, take a quick little flight back on over to Celadon. While the Sherry Bear cures paralysis, unfortunately even with Howl, we don't one-shot Victory Bell, so we are still paralyzed. And Erika really getting some revenge with all those turns we lose to paralysis. We have 7 health left after Victory Bell, but we're donezo. We try again, being committed to the same strategy, and I wasn't ready for this already, but a stun spore miss, happily will take that. Erika heals, we use one more howl, and then proceed to one-shot sweep the rest of the team. Look at that, Erika's first victory on Invasive Species, hopefully the last. And now we got quite a bit of training to do, and you'll see that as represented by our in-game time on the screen, I think right now, almost 5 hours. Since we're training in Silph Co, may as well battle the eponymous rival, right? Now, Poochyena in this battle does not have Sand Attack, but it has Feather Dance. Also, Wing Attack deals pretty decent damage. We're able to set up a couple of howls before Pidgeot wakes up and hits us, but we one-shot him. Gyarados is up next. We paralyze it off a secret power, but to no avail. He brings us to 6 health before we take him down. Growlithe's a one-shot, as is Alakazam, and here I made a mistake. I should have kept setting up here because it can't damage us besides Gen 3's Typeless Future Sight. Still, that went way smoother than it had any right to, in my opinion, so let's try again. We can definitely win this fight. And it turns out that that first battle was pretty fortunate on our behalf here. Our success relies on Pidgeot remaining asleep for as long as possible. We also really do not want to see Dragon Rage from Gyarados, considering the fact that Yawn takes a turn to proc and we have to undo one stage thanks to Intimidate. It's really becoming clear to me that Gyarados and Growlithe's 1-2 hit combo of attack drops is pretty detrimental to us. And as mentioned before, Pidgeot has Feather Dance, which drops our attack by 2 stages. Thankfully, Pidgeot mostly cooperates, and we have 93 health going forward. As Gyarados comes out, we get hit by Twister, then Dragon Rage before it falls asleep. Thankfully, it doesn't wake up, and we sweep our way to Alakazam. Alakazam sets up Reflect as we go for a Yawn, so this is absolutely perfect for us. We can set up Howl to buff our attack and stall out Reflect. Alakazam does keep going for Calm Mind, which is fine. We take it out, and we one-shot Venusaur. Not bad at all. And because the rival wasn't that bad to get by, Giovanni's gonna be pretty simple, so discussing strategy for where we go. Now, normally I'd say maybe we pivot on down to Fuchsia City, being that Sabrina is typically tougher than Koga, but since we're playing as a Dark type, which doesn't exist in Kanto, and Sabrina is the Psychic Gym leader, yeah, I think we're gonna hang out in Saffron for just a little while longer. And while our special attack is not amazing, the fact that Crunch is 80 base power and we get the same type attack bonus for it means that going through the Ghost Trainers in particular in Sabrina's gym is going to be a worthwhile endeavor for harvesting experience points. Now, as we get ready for the breathtaking epic battle against Sabrina here, it is worth noting that her Venomoth does have Leech Life, which is super effective against us, and Kadabra does have Future Sight, again typeless in Gen 3, similar to Gen 1's Nightshade and Seismic Toss. Unfortunately for Venomoth, we've set up so much that it's a one-shot, and so is everything else on her team, even the dreaded Alakazam. Alright, with everything else cleared up, we have to fight Koga and defeat him in order to make progress in the story. Well, Koga is typically pretty annoying with his accuracy and evasion buffing/debuffing shtick. No Aerial Ace for us, unfortunately, otherwise this wouldn't be a problem at all. Interestingly enough, though, as he leads off with Coughing, it goes for Sludge. We get Poise and got a Pecha Berry for it, Koga heals, and Secret Power does great damage. And as Mutt comes out, we deal great damage. Unfortunately, leave it with just a sliver. Koga's gonna heal, that gives us a free turn for Howl. Minimize doesn't save it, and Coughing is a straight-up one-shot now. Unsurprisingly, as Weezing comes out, we don't one-shot it. Thankfully, we don't get crit off of Sludge, so we're able to finish it off easy peasy. I gotta say, I'm surprised I didn't take a handful of tries. I like when Koga fights go smooth like that. Well, next up is Blaine, and I don't see this fight being smooth because his entire team has same type attack bonus Fire Blast. It should be fun. Now, Fire Blast has a 15% chance to miss. Unfortunately, Growlithe does not miss with either Fire Blast, but at least it's asleep now. After a couple, I'm not gonna risk it and take him down in one hit. Ponyta goes down in one hit. Rapidash goes down in one hit, surprisingly. Arcanine definitely won't be a one-shot, but it is paralyzed fully, so, yeah, good game. Blaine's use of a full heal prevents him from winning and gives us a first-try victory. Again, surprised to see that one. In the interest of getting as much experience as possible, we're gonna go on over to the Sevi Isles, get the hidden rare candy there, get the hidden power points up there, as well as the handful of hidden items in the forest. I keep wanting to call it Ilex Forest, but no, that's in Johto. As we clock in front of Giovanni for the final battle with him, we're just under 7 hours. Hey, you know what they say, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. Giovanni leads off with this trusty Rhyhorn, 1 of 2. We're going for Crunch, and surprisingly, we're actually able to take out Rhyhorn in 1 hit. And next up is Nidoqueen. You know the drill by now, and apparently Nidoqueen does as well, as we get slapped pretty hard with a critical Earthquake and somehow survive the follow-up. But we powered up just enough to take out Nidoqueen and Nidoking in 1 hit, which means Dugtrio is going down in 1 shot as well. Unfortunately, Crunch just misses the 1 shot, and we take a loss against Giovanni. If it wasn't for that crit from Nidoqueen, we would have won for sure, so let's do it again. Same strategy as before. I gotta say, Poochyena is doing a lot better than expected. Having Yawn as an egg move available at the start has really been helping this poor guy out. Not only that, but having Howl right away at the beginning of the game as well, our level 5 level up move, has been the actual linchpin here, because if we didn't have Yawn, we could eventually take Substitute, which I normally don't like to take, because using Substitute for every fight would be pretty darn boring in my opinion. But it's so tantalizing to take anyway, because like it's so broken in Generation 3. Thankfully we don't have to for this run. Alright, before we make our way to the league, we have to battle our rival one more time. He may have 10 badges, but quality over quantity, my friend. Pidgeot in this fight is okay to set up against, we just don't want to see Feather Dance, and we don't. Fortunately, even when he wakes up, we get hit by Wing Attack after setting up 3, so I'm gonna go on the offense. We reach a pretty nice level there, take out Rhyhorn with 1 Crunch. Gyarados, despite Intimidate, goes down to 1 Secret Power. Growlithe will be a 1-shot as well. Alakazam is perfect to set up on. I'm not sure why the rival sends out Alakazam before Venusaur. Maybe it wants to bulk it up with Reflect or something? Either way, awful move, because it's a perfect Pokemon for us to set up on, the dreaded Alakazam, completely powerless in the face of Poochyena. And Venusaur throwing the fight with Growth certainly helps. Alright, my friends, we are now at the Indigo League in Kanto. We're gonna check on our Poochyena's level up as we've made our way there. Now, we're at level 75, which is pretty high, but considering our base stat total, it wouldn't hurt to feed this guy some rare candies. I'd say he's earned those treats. Not only that, but we're going to bid farewell to Secret Power. It's been phenomenal the entire run, but we need all the firepower we can get, so we are slapping on return and we are not looking back. The first of 4 trainers before the champion is Lorelei, who is typically pretty hard in these runs. Will she be for Poochyena? Let's find out. Well, we get Hail on turn 1 perfect. We can use Yawn, and although Dugong has set up Safeguard, we've already afflicted it with Yawn, so the sleep will bypass Safeguard. Could not have asked for a better way to start this fight off, and even better for us, Dugong never wakes up as we power up with Howl and take it out with Return. The Safeguard is up for 1 more turn, but after it wears off, we hit Cloyster with Yawn and we can finish powering up. Again, the best Pokemon for us to set up on. This thing's only attacking move is Dive. Hail's chip damage really doesn't matter. And, well, everything else here is a 1-shot sweep, including Slowbro, Lapras, and, of course, Jinx, the most frail member of Lorelei's team. That might have been a strong start, but don't celebrate just yet. Next up is Bruno, and he's gonna be a nightmare for this poor guy. And now, we know that Bruno is a meme in the Gen 1 runs, but in Generation 3, he's pretty hard, especially when using a weak First Form Dark type. As we go for Yawn against Onix, it goes for Earthquake, and unfortunately we do get hit by Rock Tomb on the second turn, so we're gonna be slower than pretty much everything else now. And to make matters even worse, we don't one-shot Onix with Crunch. Oh yeah, it's gonna be worse than I thought. And that swap into Hitmonchan Sky Uppercut is Bruno just flexing all over us, like he's totally getting revenge. I mean, why do you want revenge against me, Bruno? I usually prop you up in these runs. And now, in order for us to get by Onix, one of 2 things has to happen. Turn 1, I should say 3 things. He goes for Earthquake on the 2 turns it's going to take for a Yawn to get set off and then activate. 2 Rock Tomb misses, that's ideal so we take no damage. Or having Earthquake and then a Rock Tomb miss would be okay too. The point being that we have to have very high health when Hitmonchan comes out, because if we're low enough, as you saw, Sky Uppercut, unless it misses, is going to take us out right as rain. Now, Hitmonchan can also go for Counter, which is nice, and just like with Onix, we want Hitmonchan to go for Counter, ideally twice, but Counter and a Rock Tomb miss would be fine too. In this instance, we get back-to-back counters. Yawn activates on Hitmonchan, we power up 1 more time, and just start going through Bruno's team. One-shotting Machamp and critting Onix for a 1-shot, yeah, how's that for flexing, Bruno? Next up is Agatha, and here's where we bid farewell to Crunch. It's been very useful, but Shadow Ball is gonna have more of a purpose in this fight because it uses physical before Generation 4. That'll sync nicely with our Yawn Howl strategy. The Gengar she leads off with only has Shadow Punch as a damaging move, and if it's faster, which surprisingly it's not, Yawn would bypass that, but so would a critical Shadow Ball. Unsurprisingly, Golbat goes down to a single return, and Arbok comes out. There's Intimidate. We go for a Yawn and take quite a bit of damage off a Sludge Bomb before Yawn procs, and then we power up and take out Arbok in one shot. Unfortunately, the second Gengar hits with Hypnosis, and it's Goodnight Irene. I forgot my Chesto Berry. Though having a Persim for Confuse Ray or a Pecha for Toxic isn't a bad idea either. So we know that we can tank a couple shots from Arbok, it's just a matter of Hypnosis either missing or having the Chesto Berry on hand just in case. And this time we made sure to set up so much that although we do get hit by Intimidate from Arbok, we are able to one-shot it all the same. Gengar 2 comes out, goes for Hypnosis, we chomp on that Chesto Berry, one Shadow Ball, down it goes, which means we win because Haunter is obviously going to be a one-shot. So far, Poochyena has been doing pretty good against the Elite Four. I mean, we had to get pretty lucky to get by Bruno, though I'm sure that's not surprising to anybody. Lance is usually pretty difficult in these runs, and I think that'll be no exception here either. The Yawn Howl strategy is mandatory here because Gyarados has Intimidate as an ability. Well, turn 1 we get hit by Dragon Rage, and then Twister. Well, we've got a hot spot for Gyarados here as we keep powering up with Howl, far exceeding the debuff from Intimidate. And you'll notice we have Hidden Power. It's Hidden Power Rock, by the way. Gyarados and Aerodactyl, no problem, and even Dragonite is a one-shot. And then we'll switch over to Return to take out the 2 Dragonair. All that remains between us and getting Poochyena into the Hall of Fame is our rival from the very beginning of the game. Now we have to be wary here because Pidgeot in this battle not only has Feather Dance, but also Sand Attack. In fact, its only attacking move is Aerial Ace. It makes it pretty awful to set up against. I'd say KO it and wait for Alakazam, but we know Alakazam comes out second to last, so that's off the table. And you'll notice that we already got rid of Return and replaced it with Iron Tail. Yeah, we need something to hit Rhydon for super effective damage with, otherwise it's gonna meat grind us. Alright, champion battle. Let's do this. Turn 1, Yawn, of course. We get hit by Aerial Ace, that's good. We go for Howl, get crit by Aerial Ace, still better than Sand Attack. Pidgeot's asleep, we go for Hidden Power Rock, take it down. And he sends out Alakazam second and goes for Reflect, no doubt to try to buff the remainder of the team. This is perfect for us to set up on. Though we have to be wary, it does have Future Sight, it can damage us. Not only do we mistime it and Reflect is back up, but we miss Rhydon with Iron Tail, and it takes us out with Earthquake. No surprise there, the thing has crazy good attack. On the second attempt, it starts off just like before, however, on turn 2, he does slip in Sand Attack before falling asleep. Now, as Alakazam comes out, you'll see it spamming Recover and not going for Future Sight. The AI does not recognize that Future Sight is typeless, it's Psychic. It's typing represented on the menu when you click the move, so the AI thinks that it's Psychic, so it's not going for it against us. And although we lucked out by hitting Rhydon, we make our way all the way to Arcanine, and unfortunately we miss Hidden Power Rock and it takes us out with Flamethrower despite our Citrus Berry heal. And I have to say, I feel pretty confident in having this team for Poochyena to fight because the Intimidate users are always going to be a threat to us. They have been the entire run. If he had Charizard, it might outspeed us, but Fire Blast can miss, and Rock-type Hidden Power would one-shot that thing no problem. And Blastoise on turn 1, if it sees it can't knock you out, likes going for Rain Dance, which would just nerf the rest of his team in the form of Arcanine and Executor. Against Pidgeot, don't even bother trying to set up. We get Alakazam out after 2 Hidden Power Rocks, and you know the drill by now. By now, it's down to his science as far as Alakazam's combat rotation goes, so we can take it out with Hidden Power Rock, Reflect drops when Rhydon comes out, and we don't miss with Iron Tail. Next up is Gyarados, and despite the attack drop, 1 Rock-type Hidden Power takes him down. Against Arcanine, I go for Protect just because. Flamethrower deals massive damage, but we deal all of the damage with our attack. Iron Tail nearly one-shots Venusaur as it goes for Growth. Alright. We go for Howl as the champion heals, and for good emphasis, crit with Iron Tail for an easy one-shot. Now, the champion was pretty brutal, but considering what we're using, I'm surprised it took so few tries. It's amazing what a minor tweak to the moveset in the form of a legal one, the egg move Yawn, would do for a guy like Poochyena. I say guy because ours was male and I named him Tyke as a result. I loved that cartoon growing up. Still enjoy that good old slapstick from time to time. Level 86 and 8 hours 28 minutes. Where does that place Poochyena? Well, it's quite easy to place this little guy. That level is in the D tier, that time is in the D tier, and it did not clear the no-save gauntlet, so Poochyena finds itself nice and snug in the D tier. Had a lot of fun with that run, and the follow-up, because cats and dogs just love to fight, right, is gonna be Pokemon Ruby with one Meowth. Oh, that run was nightmare fuel. It's already complete, and I'll see you guys there later.